Ba-na-bam-ba-na-na. Ba-na-bam-ba-na-ba. 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 Ba-na-bam-ba-na-bam. Bam 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 bam. Ba-na-bam-ba-na-bam. 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 Bam 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 bam. What's up, guys? Welcome to Battlefield V. Venezuela. Yeah. Yeah. Looks like we're officially going to war with Venezuela, folks. It's no longer hyperbole. It is official. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna bomb Venezuela. Ooh. And I don't need congressional authority. I'm just gonna do it. Let's get a look-see here real quick before we get started. Ooh.
And briefed them on the operations.
No,
against
we will
these.
go, I said.
You will go. And
we
it would
will
be
go.
difficult for them to object.
I don't see any loss in going. No reason not to. You know, they'll always complain, oh, we should have gone. So
He's talking about war with Venezuela.
we're going to definitely, I'd like to just tell you, let's go. We go.
And Mr.
We're going to
President-
tell them what we're going to do, and I think they're going to probably like it, except for the radical left lunatics.
And Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead. Okay?
That's illegal. That's illegal. That's a crime. That's a crime. You got to be tried at The Hague now. Now you got to be tried at The Hague. What the fuck? Hey, GI, you ready to go? Hey, GI, you geared up? You ready to go to Venezuela?
Cuando los motores están azules, esa vez está fría. Kurs, prueba los Rockies.
That's the extent of my Spanish. I'm just kidding. I know much more Spanish than that. But I don't have to go fight and die in Venezuela. Good for me. Why am I seeing a lot of Valenti recently? Because the powers that be finally recognize that I am quite literally the Messiah. I'm here to save you. I'm here to save you, comrade. Vietnam 2, Electric Boogaloo. Who could have thought? Me. I could have thought, because I told yous. Because I've been telling yous. We're going to war with Venezuela. How many fucking times have I said this? How many times have I said this? Valenti hate, my bad. The reason why you see more, it's a very similar reason. The right wing and the rest of the fascists, they understand that I am quite literally a threat. I'm a threat to their failing ideology. I'm really fucking good at this shit. I'm good on my toes. I'm good at speaking to a crowd. I'm very relatable. And I am America. That's why they fucking have to go out of their way to try and shit me down. They know that I am the America that they pretend to be. And as long as I have a platform, I'm going to keep on gathering more and more followers. We're going to create a fucking legion, and then eventually we're going to strike back and save democracy. So, you know, they gotta quiet us down. They gotta shut us up because they see the horizon. Oh yeah. So we have some stuff to talk about today. And I'm probably not going to be live for too long. Maybe an hour, maybe a little bit over an hour. But there is some crazy shit going on. Like, first of all, obviously, we just watched it. We're going to war with Venezuela. That is completely and totally fucking asinine. Then Pete Hegseth did some sort of, like, publicity stunt in a jet. Let me see if I could find it. He did some sort of publicity stunt in a jet. Pete Hegseth jet. And the stupid fucking MAGA chuds think that he's actually flying the jet, which is really funny. See if I can find it for you. Oh, then Pete Hegseth also admitted that we're sending the military into all 50 states. Let me see if I can find that. Pete Hegseth says the military will be deployed in all 50 states. Is this it? Yeah, here it is.
Sir,
Check this out.
For Secretary Hegseth, sir, a memo circulating on social media details the establishment of a National Guard response force that's going to be trained in crowd control and civil unrest and deployed in all 50 states by April of 2026. Can you verify the authenticity of that memo, and do you have any more information?
Now, here's the thing. In a sane administration, in a sane country, his response would be, no, that's not real. Are you out of your fucking mind? Deploy the military into all 50 states by April? Are you out of your fucking mind, bro? That's a violation of the Constitution. No. But we don't live in a sane world. We don't live in a sane country. We do not have a sane administration. So let's listen to Pete Hegseth's response.
On the operations.
I'm not going to answer particulars on something that may be in the planning process, but
That's a yes. He said, I'm not going to answer I'm not going to answer questions about something that may be in the planning process. That's a yes. That's yes, the leaked memo is correct, but I'm not giving you details because we are still planning this together. Chris, is this not hyperbole? Did they actually admit it? No, he's admitting it right in front of you. Just use your ears.
Information on the operations.
I'm not going to answer particulars on something that may be in the planning process, but we
And also to the Reagan question from Rex Citadel, yes, we're going to be covering that today.
definitely do have multiple layers of National Guard response forces, whether it's in each state, whether it's regionally.
How did he move the mic? He said he moved the mic like a
Any more
dipshit.
information on the operations.
I'm not going to answer
Oh, yeah, no, he's a dipshit.
particulars on something that may be.
Which is kind of funny because you would think he's a Secretary of War. He's not qualified. But if there is one thing he's qualified for, it's how to talk into a microphone. The guy was a Fox News host for fucking years. Thank you for the $20. My father, who has been a Fuhrer supporter since he first ran as president, but believes that ICE is the new Gestapo. How the fuck can you do both? How can you do both?
In the planning process,
Think of it
but
as
we
$20.
definitely do have multiple layers of National Guard response forces, whether it's in each state, whether it's regionally, whether it's Title X active duty, whether it's Washington, D.C. We've got a lot of different ways that constitutionally and legally we can employ Title X and Title 32 forces, and we will do so when necessary.
All right, so we're going to have that queued up, and then we also need Trump admitting that some mystery billionaire gave him $130 million. Trump says billionaire will pay the military. This fucking chair keeps on leaking. I don't know why it's leaking. Can you turn the volume up just a pinch? My volume or the volume of what we're watching?
A friend of mine, a man that's... And a friend of mine, talking about donors, a friend of mine, a man that's great. I'm not going to use his name unless he lets me do it. Susie can tell you about this, but he called us the other day and he said, I'd like to contribute any shortfall you have because of the Democrat shutdown. I'd like to personally contribute any shortfall you have with the military because I love the military and I love the country. And any shortfall, if there's a shortfall, I'll contribute it. And today he sent us a check for $130 million. Can you share who that is? I would love to tell you he doesn't really want the...
All right, so he said so now we know the billionaire is a man. We already know the billionaire is a man. Can we get some guesses here? Because I'm quite certain, I'm not certain on anything, but I'm trying to decide whether this was Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk. Right? No one did that. That's a complete lie. I disagree. I think this is real. Rupert Murdoch. It could have been Rupert Murdoch, too. I don't know, but I feel like we're moving away from like the stereotypical billionaires, and I feel like they're talking about more like think about the new billionaires, the ones who are propping up the government, the ones who have created the bubble. It's AI. It's it's all tech bros. It's oligarchs from Silicon Valley. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk or, God fucking forbid, it was Peter Thiel. God fucking forbid it was Peter Thiel. I don't think it was Russ. Russ works in the institution. Larry Ellison, dude, there's so many options, and every single one is terrible. Hold on, I gotta turn off the AC. I'm fucking chilly. My nipples are getting harder than diamonds. He's not necessarily an American donator. No, you're right. Nah, you right. You right.
Recognition, if you want to know the truth. But he gave us a check for $130 million. And that's going to go to which was sort of a shortfall, yeah. And that's going to go to the military.
Dude, it's funny because, like, our government has been denying this sort of stuff for fucking decades. Denying that billionaires and the 1% are giving hundreds of millions of dollars in donations in a quid pro quo in order to get beneficial treatment from the federal government. And Donald is done hiding it. Donald is done fucking hiding it. Could be Yarvin. I don't think Yarvin is a billionaire. Luigi, stop it. Anyway, so we got that. We're going to have that one queued up to go. And then we're going to need Trump Truth Social. Because Trump had like a fucking crash out over the Canadians posting some footage of Ronald Reagan. Thank you for becoming a member for 5 months. You see that Trump have a meltdown to cut off trade? Yeah, bro, I got it queued up for you right now. First of all, let's read just a couple of these. Oh my God, he's still going. He's still going. So this isn't even the first. He started with this. His first post was this. We're going to get to reading it. But one thing I'm going to need here is Ronald Reagan's anti-tariff speech. Ronald Reagan anti-tariff radio speech.
You see, at first, when someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing and buys made me.
All right. So we'll keep that queued up, and then I want the actual Canadian advertisement. Canada anti-tariff ad. That's so fucking funny. I fucking love Adam Kinzinger.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing.
All right, so we're gonna have that queued up and ready to go. Bro, my chair keeps sinking and I'm gonna fucking crash out. I'm gonna fucking crash the fuck out. What is the issue? What is the fucking issue with this goddamn piece of shit, motherfucking titty-sucking, two-balled-ass bitch? You're not gonna shrink anymore. You're gonna stay where you are. You're gonna stay there. You're gonna be good. You're gonna be good. You understand? Why'd you make me do this? You know I love you. Why'd you make me do this? All right. Hey, you're becoming a loyalist. Tighten the O-ring. I don't know where it is. I don't know where the fucking O-ring is. All right? Bastards. Oh, by the way, gang. I don't know how many of you are like loyalists. I don't know how many of you are here all the time. Have you guys been watching people like Aaron Parnas, people like these fucking breaking news TikTokers covering Steve Bannon saying that Trump is going to be the president in 2028 when we here have covered that exact fucking video for months? For months, bro. We've been covering it. I feel like I'm going to yank my fucking hair out. It's unfucking believable. I'll pull it up. I'll show you. Steve Bannon says Trump will have a third term. Bro, we covered this months ago. What's your main, thank you for the $20 donation. What's your main class on Battlefield? I don't have a main class. I have a main weapon, which is the M4 carbine. I bounce between classes depending on what the situation calls for. If we need a spawn beacon, I'm assault. We need more lives, I'm a medic. We need a drone, I'm a recon. We need to take out a tank, I'm an NG. That's just how it goes. Yeah, Chris, stop fear-mongering. And then 6 months later, oh my God, Chris Valenti was right!
28, and people just ought to get accommodated. Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump...
All right, so we'll have that queued up. How do we fight this? Not with voting. That's all I'm going to say. Ain't going to fight it with voting. I can tell you that much. All right, so we're going to have that queued up. And then I want the old one. What is this?
Here at home, and that's the focus of Budget 2025, generational investment here in Canada. And what we can also control, or at least heavily influence, is developing new partnerships and opportunities, including with the economic giants of Asia, which is the focus.
Wow, we're literally destroying our nation. Holy fucking shit. Canada is going to start partnering with China. Oh my God, we're so fucked, bro. We're so unbelievably fucked. I'd also like to point out that no shit a man named Gunther Eagleman is this much of a bootlicking chud. No shit, bro. Your name's Gunther. You were never going to be a leftist, bro. Your name's Gunther. Look at this guy. Yo, Ragebait used to be fucking believable. ABC123-P1F. Used to be fucking believable, bro. You gotta put in a little bit more effort than that. Come on. Be so fucking deadass. Be so fucking deadass. Anyway. Any other breaking news for the day? I'm still leaking. I'm still fucking leaking. Yep, the Kennedy Garden is gone. Trump's beef. Oh, 36 minutes ago, breaking news regarding Venezuela. Trump orders another U.S. carrier strike group to the Caribbean. Great. Great. Fantastic. I love to hear that. Love to hear that. Hakeem Jeffries is going to finally endorse Zohran Mamdani. Took you long enough, Apex Shakur, you fucking fleshlight. Jesus Christ. These motherfuckers, they wait until the last possible moment because they're such rad libs. They're such fucking neoliberal pieces of shit that just don't want anything to change. They don't want anything to change. Speaking of, Zohran fucking DM'd me. Shout out Zoe. I don't know if you're watching this. You probably fucking aren't because you're busy as a motherfucker. But we got Zohran Mamdani in the DMs, gang. We love that. We love that. Love that. Yo, that's huge, I know. Inshallah, lisan al-gaib. Well, yeah, why am I not allowed to swear in the chat? The hell? You can swear. Bro, there's a fucking AI that watches all live stream chats. There's a couple of things you can't say. I don't know what you typed, but that probably ain't my mods. There's a couple of things that if you type it out, the AI is going to automatically cleanse that shit. It's going to auto-cleanse that shit. How are you going to be able to vote for Zohran? I can't vote for Zohran. I don't live in New York City. But I can get as many people as I possibly can to vote for Zohran. Anyway. What other breaking news do we have? Trump to meet Xi Jinping. Huh. All my life. All my life. Would you go on Chris Cuomo's podcast? Listen, I fucking hate the Cuomos. I would go on that because I would start some Italian on Italian fucking race crimes. I would be calling Chris Cuomo fucking Fredo. I'm dead ass, dude. If I got on Chris Cuomo's show, oh my God, I'd be like, so you do know you're a disgrace to Italian Americans, right? And so's your brother. You do know like the Cuomo name has brought disgrace to being an Italian American. Are you aware of this? We are Italian. We hate him. I know. You'd be fantastic on that podcast. I would rage bait the fuck out of Chris Cuomo. Are you kidding me? My name's Chris. I'd straight up, I'd say, Chris, as an Italian American named Chris, I have one question for you. Do you think you're a good representation of New York Italians? Do you genuinely think that, because you're a Nepo baby, you come from a political dynasty, your brother's a sexual predator that doesn't understand the word no, hence the reason why he's still running for mayor. Do you even understand the shame that you have brought to Italian Americans? Do you? And oh my God, I would rage bait the fuck out of him. That would hit him in the fucking heart. Have you ever seen Chris Cuomo freak the fuck out when somebody called him Fredo? He freaked the fuck out. Freaked the fuck out. And there goes the mic. Is the mic fucked up? Is my mic fucked up? Mic is fine? Oh, okay. Somebody said my mic was fucked up. Anyway. Trump's to meet Xi Jinping for the first time in this term. That ain't really big news. Yeah, the entire East Wing is gone now. The entire fucking East Wing is gone. Look at this. Picture's worth 1,000 fucking words, gang. Look at this. Look at this. Question from a class of 21 freshman students in Connecticut. Hi, Chris. We watch your lives and debate history. Would you come speak to us? Hey, Teach. You gonna pay me? You gonna pay me, Teach? However, I will say this. Yo, if your teacher is making you watch me, you have the most based teacher on planet Earth, bro. Based on God, bro. You ready for some propaganda? No, I'm just fucking with you, but I would. I got no problem with that. I'd love to. Cheers. Trump literally said he wouldn't interfere with the building. Oh, you telling me the pathological liar pathologically lied? Huh. Who would have thunk? Huh. Never thought that would happen. The pathological liar pathologically lied? What's next? Do Nazis hate Jews? Huh. Do racists hate black people? Whoa. 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 Like, what the fuck are we talking about, gang? No shit. Fork found in Fork Factory. You see the older millennials straight up lying about the East Wing? No, but I mean, most of his posts are lies. Let me see if I can pull it up. Older piss boy. Let's see. Where is it? Which one is it? This one?
I just wanted to point out that when they show you the destruction of the
Yo, real quick. This fat alcoholic piss boy, he got so blackout drunk that he fucking he didn't fall asleep. He passed out on his live stream, and his live stream went all night long. And he's sitting there like a fat fuck, just snoring, drooling, dribbling alcohol out of his fucking lips. It's almost sad to watch, because you have to understand, this is an actual alcoholic. This is a man struggling with alcoholism, and nobody's doing anything about it, probably because he doesn't have any family. Or if he does, they don't love him. They're not doing anything to help, but let's watch.
This is the part that got knocked down.
That's not true. You were right. He's just lying. This is not true. The entire East Wing is gone. I mean, I just showed you the fucking picture. Look, there's the White House, bro. He's saying that this portion right there got knocked down. And it's not. It's the entire East Wing. Oh, wait, yeah, dude. Bro is always loudly... Like, I'm so glad everybody's fucking shitting on him. Like, this is just... Dude, I don't think he does any research. I don't think he's ever done research. Maybe the $10. The students agree that they will fundraise for your soaking engagement. We will reach out to Nelson on Discord. The history department thanks you. Make more content, please. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I studied history. I majored in history in college with a minor in political science. I'll give you and your class just one little piece of hope. Hey, guys, every single generation throughout human history thought that they were the final generation of humanity. There's no generation that thought, we're going to make it out of this 100%. Every generation thinks it's fucking over, bro. The 60 million people who died in World War II probably thought, this is it, right? This is it for humanity. The 30 million people who died in World War I probably thought, this is it, right? This is the end of humanity. All these fucking people probably thought, they all thought it was it. And guess what? You're still fucking here. And you're here because you are the descendant of like 4,000 fucking people who survived every single historical event that has ever fucking happened. Your turn to carry the torch. You better hold it high, motherfucker.
See this little awning over here? That's what they knocked down because they need space for the building that's going there. This is where the president works. This is where the Oval Office is. This is where you see everything going on in the White House. This is where the president lives. You do a White House tour. This is where you go. This is the East Wing, which, in case you were unaware, started as an indoor pool for FDR. This building that everyone's like, it's...
That's not true. That's not true. The East Wing was constructed to hide the bunker that they were creating beneath it. When we started to work on the Manhattan Project and we finally created nuclear weapons, do you know what else we decided we needed? Nuclear bunkers. We said, well, if we've got these weapons, then the enemy could have these weapons. And if the enemy has these weapons, we need to be able to survive. The East Wing was constructed to make sure our enemies didn't think we were building a bunker. That was the whole fucking point.
So historic, you can't take it down. It was a fucking pool. The president, FDR, spent your money to build an indoor pool. Of course, fucking Teddy Roosevelt decided to do some construction. Fucking Truman put a bowling alley. And Obama put a fucking basketball court. And yes, I understand the stereotype. Yeah, guys, all this crying and all these pictures you're seeing. Oh, the destruction. It's the fucking side of the East Wing. So they can put a new building right here. Oh, and by the way, it's the first construction done on the White House that we're not paying for. So shut the fuck up.
Okay, so the fat alcoholic piss boy just doesn't know anything. He doesn't know history. He doesn't know he doesn't know anything. And I guarantee you that fat fuck hasn't seen his dick in years. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. What a fucking idiot. Anyway, so there's the White House. Just loud and wrong, bro. Just loud and wrong. Anyway. All right. So is there any other breaking news? I can't really think of any. Now we just got to organize the tabs and then we can make the video. We just got to organize the tabs and then make the video. Older millennials a disgrace to my generation. Dude, the older millennials is a disgrace to the military. Stolen valor, bro. He pretends like he saw combat. That motherfucker was a fat little pencil pusher who never once saw combat. He's unironically like stolen valor. Ugh. Before we go in, hold on. See if I could find it. Your turn to carry the torch, turn that into a video? I think I did. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, bro. This shit pisses me off. I don't know why the fuck Hassan is running defense for a guy with a goddamn fucking Totenkopf tattoo. Not to mention, the guy did 4 fucking tours in Afghanistan before working for Blackwater. He's a fucking war criminal. And he's a goddamn Nazi. Like, why the fuck are we doing this? Why are we doing this? I love Hassan, but what the fuck are you doing? The fuck are you doing? He's not defending him? Well, granted, I haven't seen the fucking clip, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. At best, he's defending stupidity that shouldn't be defended. I don't really know. What's the other option? Fuck if I know, but you'd catch me dead before you caught me voting for anybody who got a fucking Totenkopf tattooed on them. You covered up the tat? It's not enough for me. Getting that tattoo is an unforgivable act in my eyes. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm the too woke friend, but never in a million fucking years would I vote for somebody who got a Totenkopf tattoo. The other option is your classic way. The other option is your classic way too old white woman. A way too old white woman is a better choice than a Nazi, bro. What's Totenkopf? It's the skull and bones that the SS used to have on their collars back in World War II. It's one of the most famous Nazi symbols of all time. Let me show you. This is the Totenkopf. You see, it's on his collar there. The SS used to have these on their collars. He had that fucking thing tattooed on his chest, bro. Thank you for the $10. Just listen to the full So discography. Now this goat is live, having a good day. Hell yeah, Chris. Thank you for the $10, brother. I appreciate you. Yeah, no, listen, guys, maybe I'm the too woke friend, but that's a line I will never cross. Anybody who ever gets a tattoo of a Nazi symbol on their body, I will never support you. I don't give a shit if people can change. I don't give a shit if tattoos can be removed. To be able to make that decision at the age that he was shows a sign of understanding. Okay, he understood what that was. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Not now, not never. Ugh. Rather be woke than red-pilled. The tattoo artist would have had to say something. Well, he got the tattoo in Croatia. Fucking, first of all, you can't get a Nazi symbol tattooed on you unless you're going to a tattoo parlor that is affiliated with Nazis, bro. I'm covered in fucking tattoos, dude. I know tattoo artists. If you asked a fucking tattoo artist for a Nazi symbol, they will either beat the shit out of you on the spot or kick you out. It's that simple. It's that fucking simple. Oh. How long do you think the government shutdown will last for? Forever. I don't think they're ever going to reopen the government. This is part of the plan. Rage. Retire all government employees. Russ Vaught wrote this into Project 2025. Even if the government, quote unquote, reopens, the 750,000 federal employees that were furloughed, there's probably only going to be like, I don't know, 10% of them that come back. And you're going to have to prove party loyalty. You're going to have to do some sort of like MAGA DEI program. Incoming positivity, brace for impact. What the fuck are you talking about? Cummy Glosters. Hassan needs to take a break. He seems to be taking a lot of L's lately. No, there is a organized campaign against Hassan going on right now. It started on October 7th. Like, don't forget who Hassan Piker is. The guy's fucking banned from Israel. Shout out Israel. I'm also banned. I ain't coming. I wasn't planning on taking a fucking vacation to Tel Aviv, Netanyahu. You didn't need to ban me from your fucking nation, you psycho. Check out the DHS tweet showing Nazi propaganda. Which one? Dude, all the DHS tweets are fucking Nazi propaganda. Thanks for the 5 gifted memberships, Unicorn. I appreciate you. Which one? America's been invaded by criminals and predators. We need you to get them out. Yeah, dude, it's all fucking Nazi propaganda. Huh. I wonder what this is. This got pulled down for copyright. That's fucking awesome. Yeah, this got pulled too. Look at this. Dude, there's like 15-year-old kids out there who are like, based! This goes hard as shit. And no, it does. This goes hard as shit if you're brain dead. This goes hard as shit if you're spoon-fed propaganda. This goes hard as shit if you're dumb as fuck. Like... Oh, jeez. All right, so what's the Nazi propaganda, bro? Is that it? That's probably it. Crusader. Why does he have two? This is AI generated slop, bro. And this is also fucking like you could have made this. This is like this doesn't even take effort. This doesn't even take effort. Like Cat could have made this and it would have been better. This is pathetic. Why does he got 2 swords? They never had 2 swords. What the fuck are you doing? And yeah, well, here's the thing, guys. Like, the DHS posts a lot of Nazi propaganda. If I'm being totally fucking honest, this is the least Nazi propaganda that they've put out, okay? Yeah, the Nazis did a lot of Crusader shit with the Templars, you know what I'm saying? But I've seen DHS post way worse shit. DHS Nazi propaganda. Will Chris cover the New York Attorney General's court hearing today? No, bro. I ain't gonna cover that shit until there's a decision made. The fuck am I gonna do? I don't even think there's a camera in there. They're gonna give us like a live reaction. But yeah, dude, this is the shit that DHS already pumps out. It's already Nazi propaganda, bro. DHS propaganda. Let's see. Report all foreign invaders. No age cap. Join ICE now. It's a father and a son. This one. Dude, this one was more Nazi-esque than the one you guys are fucking talking about.
And this
one is so much more Nazi-esque. It's got the fucking manifest destiny going through. You got the fucking, you got the, not the Indians, the Native Americans running away. Like, bro, like, I'm not trying to excuse this post, but this is the, like, the least, why are you guys surprised by this? This is the least Nazi shit that they've posted. Thank you for the $5. I appreciate that. Oh, that's hilarious. Thank you for the $20. I was wondering what makes one thing propaganda and what makes something not. No, it's all propaganda. This is all propaganda. You're watching propaganda right now. Propaganda is not a lie. Propaganda is just telling the fucking news, reporting the news, pumping it out so that the people see it. Propaganda is a tool, and it can be used for bad reasons. I'll give you just like a basic example. If I'm reporting on, we're going to war with Venezuela, you're up against 4 million, you're not going to get paid, you're going to get cancer, whatever. That's propaganda that is designed to get less young boys and girls to go die in a foreign conflict. That's propaganda that is used for a good thing. And then you'll see state-sanctioned propaganda to try and increase recruitment levels into something like ICE. That they're both propaganda, but one of them is being used for a terrible, terrible cause, you know? This is technically anti-fascist propaganda? Yes. Don't fool, dude, I'm a propagandist. Don't fool yourself into thinking anything other than that. But being a propagandist is not a bad thing if you're doing it for good reasons. I'm doing it to save fucking democracy. And again, propaganda is not a lie. I'll give you the definition of propaganda. Here. Propaganda. Information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote a particular cause, doctrine, or point of view. Now, I'm not using a misleading nature, but I am absolutely biased. Everybody is biased. You're never going to find an unbiased news source. What you are going to find are people who are willing to just tell you off the rip what your bias is. And I'll tell you this much. I'm an American, which means my bias when it comes to fascism is fuck fascists, okay? I'll tell you straight up. However, Fox News won't. When you go to Fox News, you know what their bias is? Pro-fascism. They're not going to tell you off the rip, yo, by the way, we're fascists. They're not going to do that. I'll tell you off the fucking rip that I hate fascism. There's my bias. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, I'm going to fill up my cup of coffee, and then we're going to align, we're going to get these tabs lined up, and then we're going to make our video for the day, all right? I'm going to go fill up my cup of coffee. I'll be right back. All right. All right. Alex, he's getting coffee. Oh my God. What did Alex say? Why angry correct guy gone? I'm getting coffee, you son of a bitch. Bella Cafefe. Ooh. I'm gonna come. Look at my ballroom. Ooh. All right. All right. Let's start lining up these tabs. So we got to make this clear and concise, okay? And it's usually not best to start with a video, but we might have to. All right, so we're going to start with war with Venezuela, okay? We're going to start with war with Venezuela. Trump says we're going to war with Venezuela, and then I think maybe we can move to one of these. Hold on. Is there another thing about Venezuela here? I don't think there is. Oh, there we go. Yeah, U.S. Carrier Strike Group. So that'll go second. All right, so we got 2 tabs for war with Venezuela. Now, on the topic of war, am I losing frames right now? I'll fucking punch straight through this goddamn PC. Dio dammi resterete di eccitare il costo ci non posso cambiare, il coraggio di cambiare, il costo ci posso, le saggezza di capire nella differenza. Di Padre, Spirito Santo. Anyway, yeah, so then we're going to move on. Now then we're going to go, speaking of war, how about war domestically? Pete Hegseth says we're going to send the troops into every fucking state. And then Trump says we got the military being paid by some anonymous billionaire. Turn the AC back on. I'll throw you off a fucking mountain. Grab you by your little fucking ankle. Anyway. All right, and then we're going to move on to war, but Trump says, you know, a billionaire is going to pay for it, whatever. Then we're going to move on to Canada. So Canada, followed by Reagan's actual speech and the ad. We'll do the ad and then Reagan's speech. Okay, and then speaking of... Yeah. Then we're going to move on to more terror. So Canada again. Ranchers. And then we're going to move on to Trump 2028. Oh, no, we're going to start with the White House. Be like, he's not leaving. Why is he not leaving? Because of Trump 2028. We're going to do that. Hakeem finally endorses Zoran. Oh, we need this. And I think we'll just skip the DHS Nazi shit because they do that every single day. I really don't consider that to be news. I'm not going to lie, I don't consider that to be news. They do that every day. Excuse me, sorry about the burp. Forgive me if you're wearing headphones. Anyone else having sound issues? I don't think so. Guys, you got to tell me if you're having a sound issue. You got to tell me because then I'll try to fix it. You're going to have to tell me. The sound is a little bit low, like me talking is a little bit low. You sound softer than usual. All right, I'll move it up just a little bit. I cranked it up there to 90, but then if I get real loud.
Una mattina mi sono alzato, un bello ciao, bello ciao, bello ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato l'invasor.
How's that? Luigi came running when she heard that.
Un partigiano, portami via. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato l'invasor.
You guys are saying it sounds grainy. How do you fix that? How do you fix grainy? Anybody know how to fix grainy? I'm singing in Italian. Nelson, do you know how to fix grainy? If I'm being honest, let me ask Nelson about the audio, because he actually knows this shit. Nelson, do I sound good enough to start filming or no? There's too many of you with opinions. I am going to disregard them like Donald Trump. Chris phone. You're fine. Change it back so you don't peak the mic. 10-4. See, this is why you pay your fucking moderators. I think they're fucking with you. Probably. Are your levels hitting red? No. All right, then I think we're good to go. The one thing I do want to do is I never read any of, where is it? One of these. Yeah, I never read any of this. I want to make sure I know what I'm talking about here. Let's see. Yeah, Trump Argentinian beef. Did he say Trump Argentina beef Truth Social? Did he post something about Truth Social? Or did he post something on Truth Social? Trump says to buy beef from Argentina. Criticized Trump's proposal to import beef from Argentina. When was Trump's proposal to buy beef from Argentina? Where did he do it? Does anybody know where he did it? He posted about it on Truth Social. Let's see. There was a press conference about it too. I believe it. Maybe we try Twitter. We try Twitter. Trump, Argentina beef.
To say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything.
That ain't gonna do it.
What do you have to say? That the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting.
Jeff with the 10 gifted Valenti Videos memberships. Thank you very much, Jeff. Shout out, Jeff, and congratulations to everybody who just got gifted a membership. You no longer have to see ads. Is that how that works? But you just got access to member-only content and some cool emotes. Ain't that something?
For their life, nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can, but don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying.
Okay. Country is facing foot and mouth disease. Luigi, shush. What is this? Is this it? I don't think so. Hey, the school just got gifted a membership. Congratulations to you, school kids. You just got gifted a membership. Nice. Nice. Yeah. I think we're good to make a video. Is this on video? Is Trump saying that on fucking video, bro? I want to see him say that. I don't think he's on video saying it. Yeah, probably not.
You're looking to do that deal with Argentina, the bail swap. So,
Beef?
are we expecting a beef deal?
I assume you're talking about beef. Yeah, to get beef prices down. The only price we have that's high is beef, and we'll get that down. And one of the things we're thinking about doing is beef from Argentina.
Wow, he did say it on camera. Goated. Okay. Where's the cattle rancher thing? Is that it? That's it. There we go. All right, we got banger. We got a banger now. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. You guys ready to make a fucking banger? Ugh, lock in. Hamburger helper, Fox News. What?
Live on air last night as Donald Trump is
helper.
Watch what they were talking about here. Play this clip.
And last but not least, one trend and True Brand is making a big comeback as consumers tighten their wallets. And here it is, Hamburger Helper. The mix of mac and cheese and ground beef is seeing a surge in sales.
Then state regime media tried to normalize Donald Trump bulldozing the entire east wing of the White House, and they would have these segments where it was like, and literally there.
Derangement over the construction of Trump's big, beautiful ballroom. Hillary Clinton said, quote,
yeah, we'll have this one queued up. That's fucking nuts, bro. All right. That's fucking nuts. Not gonna lie, I eat Hamburger Helper. No, listen, I'm sure people eat Hamburger Helper, but Hamburger Helper was literally designed for the recession. It was created for the recession. That's the whole fucking point of Hamburger Helper, is that when the price of food gets too high, people can buy Hamburger Helper and still give their family meat. That's the whole fucking point, dude. It's like the modern version of Spam. You know? What it's for. It's poverty food, yeah. All right. It doesn't come with fucking meat, bro. I know, dipshit. I know. I'm aware of that. My God. All right. We got a video to make. You guys ready for a banger? I missed the part where that confirmed war with Venezuela. You're going to see it in a second. We're going to play it in a second. Here we go. We're officially going to war with Venezuela without congressional approval, because Donald Trump is the Führer, not the president. He does not seek out congressional approval for fucking anything. And even if he did want congressional approval, the government is still shut down because Donald Trump refuses to release the Epstein files. And on top of that, he's trying to take away health care for tens of millions of Americans. But yeah, Trump finally just confirmed it on video. He said, yeah, no, we're just going to kill them. He was asked, he goes, why won't you seek congressional approval if you want to go to war with Venezuela? And he says, we're just going to kill them. Like they'll be dead. That's a direct quote. We'll just kill them. Like they'll be dead. Direct quote. So we're going to talk about the war with Venezuela. Hey, GI watching this. You ready for Vietnam 2 Electric Boogaloo? Enjoy the jungle. And then Trump sent another U.S. carrier strike group into the Caribbean. I think it was the USS Gerald Ford is in there. Just a whole bunch of like 10,000 soldiers, F-22s, F-16s, nuclear-powered submarines, destroyers. Like we're going to war with Venezuela. That's happening. What else? We've got Pete Hegseth confirming that we have a plan to send the military into all 50 states of the United States of America by April of 2026. So nationwide martial law incoming, inshallah. Donald Trump admits that a private billionaire sent $130 million to the White House and said, pay the troops with this money because, as you know, the government is shut down and we're not paying any federal employees, including our troops. Now, this $130 million, it doesn't cut it. It's not enough money, but for decades, our federal government has pretended that they don't receive quid pro quo deals from billionaires. But Donald Trump, you know, he's the most corrupt president in American history. That is an irrefutable fact. And he doesn't feel like he has to hide his corruption. He doesn't give a shit. And we know this because, for fuck's sake, the guy goes there, he's like, make sure you buy Trump watches. Oh, they're only 40 grand. Ooh, make sure you buy Trump shoes and the Trump coin. It's fucking stupid. Thank you for the $20, Jeff. Appreciate that. And then we're going to move on to Trump's Truth Social crash out where he's, we're buying billions of dollars worth of Argentinian beef that is infected with tapeworms and foot and mouth disease. Meanwhile, our cattle ranchers are actually just fucked because the price of beef in the United States has skyrocketed. But then again, Donald Trump does not give a fuck about cattle ranchers or farmers. I voted for your ranch. Did you? Canada launched an advertisement shitting on tariffs because tariffs are bad for the economy for both nations. And they played a video of Ronald Reagan shitting on tariffs because Ronald Reagan notoriously fucking hated tariffs. He grew up in the Great Depression, and the Great Depression was exacerbated by the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. So Ronald Reagan fucking hated tariffs, and he made a radio speech about this in the 80s, and Donald Trump, he's never heard it. So Donald Trump is crashing the fuck out. He says that this is fraudulent and it's AI generated, which is hilarious coming from Trump because he literally posts AI generated slop all the time. And I'm going to prove to you that this is Ronald Reagan's actual words. The Canadians, so Trump's reaction to all this was he said, we're cutting all trade with the nation of Canada. We're done trading with Canada, which would actually destroy the United States in a matter of months. But Canada came out, the Canadian Prime Minister Carney came out and said, okay, we'll do trade with the Asian world. We'll do trade with China. And this is because nobody needs the United States of America for anything other than military conflict. Yeah, we're going to cover Trump saying we're going to buy Argentinian beef. What else do we got? Trump blames the cattle ranchers, says that they should be thanking him. What else? Fox News, state-controlled media, the propaganda machine, is pumping out advertisements for Hamburger Helper because they know how many Americans are absolutely fucked in the holiday season. Donald Trump destroyed the entire East Wing of the White House. Surprise, surprise, pathological liar lied when he said he wasn't going to do that, but he destroyed the entire East Wing. The whole thing is gone. We got aerial shots for you. What else? There's a couple more. Steve Bannon came out and said Trump is going to be the president in 2028. Granted, he said that a long time ago. We've been covering this on this fucking channel for a dog's age. This is why I say to be a socialist is to be correct 6 months early and have everyone tell you, fuck you, you're a fearmonger, and then they come back in 6 months and go, oh my God, you were right, and you've turned a couple hundred fucking liberals into socialists. And then last but not least, Apak Shakur, also known as Hakeem Jeffries, finally endorsed Zohran Mamdani a solid week before the election. Took you long enough, you fucking sack of shit. Anyway, I'm Chris Valenti. Welcome to the Valenti VOD. We have a lot to dive in today, but before we do, I'd like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. Now, if you do want to support this channel financially, because this is real independent media, I've never had a conversation with an advertiser, I've never had a conversation with a billionaire or a government. It is grassroots funded here. So if you do want to support me, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You could buy merch like the Democratic Socialist poster or the Constitusi mugs. You can click the thanks button down below to tip me directly, like this guy just did with the $5. Thank you for keeping us informed. I appreciate you. You can click the join button down below to become a member, which will give you access to member-only content, and it'll give you access to some cool-ass emotes. You could become a patron on Patreon. Big shout-out to anybody who donates on Patreon. You'll get access to Patreon-only content. And then last but not least, you could use the 40% off discount code for Ground News located in the description below. But without further ado, I think we just dive right into the news, starting off with war with Venezuela. So Donald Trump says that he is waging war with Venezuela without congressional approval. He says it, you can get it from the horse's mouth. Let's listen.
And briefed them.
I have to turn up the volume because holy shit, that guy's mic is not working.
And briefed them on the operations.
No, we will go. I said.
You will go, and
we
it would
will
be
go.
difficult
We
for them
will go. He's talking about Venezuela.
to object.
I don't see any loss in going. No reason not to. You know, they'll always complain, oh, we should have gone. So we're going to definitely, I'd like to just tell you, let's go. We'll go.
And Mr.
We're going to
President,
tell them what we're going to do, and I think they're going to probably like it, except for the radical left lunatics.
And Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead. Okay?
And
we're gonna kill them, you know? They're gonna be like dead. So go to The Hague. So get tried for being a war criminal. So get fucked, you morbidly obese orange fascist. So suck my fucking dick, you blue hand intravenous fat cankle spilling out of your socks looking ass bitch. Hey, if you have family in the military, they're going to Venezuela. And a question, do you guys, can you think of any other war that we waged in a foreign nation, in a jungle, against millions of guerrilla fighters? I can think of one. It was called Vietnam. My father served in it. And we lost bad. We got our fucking asses handed to us. Brothers, sisters, vendors, comrades, have we lost the fucking plot? Republicans, you guys have been screaming bloody murder for fucking years. No more foreign wars. Why do our presidents keep on sending us into forever wars in foreign nations? And now that the fucking Führer is down with the funk, you guys are dancing. You're just jigging along to it going, let's bomb Venezuela. Let's bomb them today. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Venezuela wasn't even a fucking thought on your brain until this fat bastard became the fucking president. Anyway, so Donald Trump, he just says we're going to violate the law. We're just going to go to war. No congressional approval. We're just going to start murdering these people. And don't forget, Donald Trump is a fucking murderer, okay? Every American president throughout history has been a fucking murderer. Every single one of those boats that we blew up, where Trump and Pete Hegseth posted the snuff films on Twitter, that's murder. You can't do that. You could send in the fucking Coast Guard and arrest them and detain them and question them, you know what I'm saying? But you can't just judge, jury, execution, or fucking bomb a fishing boat. Are you out of your fucking mind? Not to mention the fact that this ain't even just Venezuela. We blew up a Colombian boat, and the Colombian president said, yo, that's a war crime. And you know what Trump's response was? He tweeted out, he goes, you're a drug dealer. And he said, we're going to bomb you. Post on Truth Social, he threatened to bomb Colombia. So, like, I never want to hear some fucking right-wing MAGA piece of shit try to tell me that this guy's a peaceful dove. You know, I never want to fucking hear that shit again. All right, let's move on to a little bit of the details here. Trump orders U.S. carrier strike group to the Caribbean. Now, this is on top of the 10,000 soldiers, what is it? I think it's 9 warships and 1 nuclear-powered submarine that are already there. So we're just doubling down on this. War with Venezuela is a bit of a stretch. You just heard the President of the United States say, yeah, we're going to war with Venezuela. No, I'm not seeking congressional approval. It's not a fucking stretch. Smell the fucking roses. Bite the fucking bullet. Jesus Christ. President Donald Trump has ordered an aircraft carrier strike group to the Caribbean, a major escalation of warships in the region as the U.S. attacks alleged drug-running boats and increases pressure on the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro. Deploying a carrier is a significant move for any White House and often suggests larger-scale military operations. And don't forget, guys, this is happening a week after. Last week, the head of South Command, the top admiral of South Command, retired out of nowhere when he had 3 years left in his term. And he retired, and he said that he was doing it to avoid being charged with following through with illegal orders from the president. Never in American history has a single top-ranking admiral resigned before their term is over. Never happened before, not to mention the fucking Marine general who retired for the exact same reason. So the military is already purging itself because they don't want to be fucking tried at The Hague. Yeah, Admiral Halsey was his name. The arrival of the USS Gerald Ford, the Navy's newest and most advanced aircraft carrier for the Mediterranean, alongside several destroyers and a submarine, will add to what is already the world's largest naval deployment. Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell announced the move on X, saying the deployment, quote, will bolster U.S. capacity to detect, monitor, and disrupt illegal actors and activities that compromise the safety and prosperity of the United States homeland and our security in the Western Hemisphere. The warships will add to the 10,000 troops and dozen F-35 fighters which the regime has sent to the region over the last several weeks. B-52 and B-1B Lancer bombers have flown close to Venezuela's coast in recent days as warplanes and drones sunk 7 alleged drug-running boats. The actions have killed dozens of people, which the Pentagon has labeled as narco-terrorists. The regime has said the killings are lawful, but not provided a legal rationale for the military's use of force against civilians who are not engaged in war. So again, don't fool yourself. We said it earlier. Every single one of those videos that you watched of us bombing boats, that was murder. You watched a snuff film of us murdering people. I know it looks different because it's in like that fucking thermal drone footage or whatever, but it's still murder. No matter how disconnected you are from it, it's still an innocent civilian who is not participating in combat being fucking murdered. That's what it is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So speaking of the topic of war and Pete Hegseth and whatnot, it's not just international. We also have a plan to deploy our military domestically. As you know, Donald Trump will invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807. He said it with his own chest. He wants to overrule the Posse Comitatus Act so that our military can practice law enforcement. He wants the Marines, the National Guard, the Army to start detaining and arresting any dissidents of the regime because Donald Trump is the Fuhrer. But Pete Hegseth was asked a direct question today on a leaked memo regarding a plan to deploy the United States military into all 50 states of the United States by April, and he did not deny it. Now, here's the thing. In a sane regime, in a sane world, when you're asked in the United States, hey, do you plan on deploying the military to all 50 states? You go, no. Are you out of your fucking mind? That's illegal. Posse Comitatus, motherfucker. No, we're not doing that. But you don't live in a sane world. You don't live in the United States of America. You live in the fascist regime formerly known as the United States of America. So let's get a quick clip of the Secretary of War and alcoholic Fox News host Pete Hegseth admitting the quiet part out loud.
For Secretary Hegseth, sir, a memo circulating on social media details the establishment of a National Guard response force that's going to be trained in crowd control and civil unrest and deployed in all 50
Real quick, somebody said, wouldn't you agree that the drugs they destroyed could have killed more people? The drugs that they destroyed allegedly wouldn't even be enough for my bachelor party.
states by April of 2026. Can you verify the authenticity of that memo?
Let's rewind so you can hear this question one more time.
Deployed in all 50 states and be trained in crowd control and civil unrest and deployed in all 50 states by April of 2026. Can you verify the authenticity of that memo, and do you have any more information on the operations?
I'm not going to answer particulars on something that may be in the planning process, but...
That's a yes. I'm not going to... Anything other than fuck no is a yes. He just said, I'm not going to give you details on something that we may or may not be planning. That is a yes. Don't forget, these are politicians. These are the people who every time they're in court, they say, I do not recall. This motherfucker would have said no if the answer was no. And also, get a look at evil fucking piece of shit fat bastard Smile over here. He knows damn well it's coming.
We definitely do have multiple layers of National Guard response forces, whether it's in each state, whether it's regionally, whether it's Title 10 active duty, whether it's Washington, D.C., we've got a lot of different ways that constitutionally and legally we can employ Title 10 and Title 32 forces, and we will do so when necessary.
So that's a yes. They're planning on deploying the United States military into every single state of the United States by April of 2026. That's the play. Now, I've told you this before. I'll tell you what the plan is. The plan is to wage multiple international wars. They're going to wage war with Mexico. They're going to wage war with Venezuela. And we might wage war with with Denmark over Greenland, right? Now, by doing so, we'll be able to deploy the United States military, the Army, the Navy, the fucking Air Force internationally, and they will be too busy fighting and dying. And you saw in yesterday's video, give me back my frames. You saw in yesterday's video that ICE just started to get guided missile launchers and ordnance and warheads, right? ICE is preparing to be deployed nationwide. Okay, and they're preparing to start blowing shit up and murdering people. So the plan is to deploy the Gestapo on domestic territory and the military on foreign territory. That way you can keep them separated from each other. Because don't forget, the military at the end of the day consists of civilians. The military consists of you, of your fellow man, right? So if you actually send the military, the real military, not ICE, you send the real military to start participating in crowd control in the United States, you're probably going to end up with a lot of dissidents. You're going to end up with a lot of people who quit, who go home, who say, I'm not fucking doing this, I'll take the dishonorable discharge. But you send them internationally, they're going to be a little bit too busy trying to defend their fucking brother right next to them. Anyway, Donald Trump admitted that our soldiers are being paid by a secret billionaire. Listen to this shit.
And a friend of mine, talking about donors, a friend of mine, a man that's great, I'm not going to use his name unless he lets me do it. Susie can tell you about this, but he called us the other day and he said, I'd like to contribute any shortfall you have because of the Democrat shutdown. I'd like to personally contribute any shortfall you have with the military, because I love the military and I love the country, and any shortfall, if there's a shortfall, I'll contribute it. And today he sent us a check for $130 million.
Can you share who that is?
I would love to tell you, he doesn't really want the recognition, if you want to know the truth, but he gave us a check for $130 million.
And that's going to go to the...
Which was sort of a shortfall, yeah. And that's going to go to the military, yeah.
And what's your...
Yeah, okay, so the government is shut down, and Donald Trump refuses to use the quote-unquote $17 trillion that he got. It's not real. It's not real, by the way. There is no 17 trillion. There is no 12 trillion. There's no 9 trillion. There's no 7 trillion, and there's no 2 trillion. There's not even a trillion. He did not receive a $1 trillion donation. You need to be actually mentally disabled to think that Donald Trump got $17 trillion of donations. But he refuses to use any of that fake money on paying the military, so instead he's relying on a secret billionaire who is engaging in a quid pro quo, where he said, I'll give you $130 million and you're going to give me who the fuck knows what. Now, we could speculate who we think this billionaire is. I have a couple of options. I think it could be Larry Ellison. I think it could be Peter Thiel. I think it could be Elon Musk. And I think it could be Mark Zuckerberg. Those are my 4 options. That's who I think it is. But this is poignant as fuck. Because, guys, the government, the federal government, has pretended for decades that they do not engage in quid pro quos with the 1%, that our country is being funded by tax dollars and debt from foreign nations, not from fucking billionaire donation shadow rulers who were not elected. Donald Trump is so corrupt that he is admitting it publicly. He's proudly admitting that he is engaging in backroom shadow deals with billionaires and that their money is paying the military. Do you understand how fucking demented this is? Friendly reminder, by the way, that we had Jimmy Carter get rid of his peanut farm because we were worried about some sort of collaboration, some sort of foreign interference. But this motherfucker, he could take $100 million donations from foreign rulers. He can shell out Trump watches. He can take fucking Qatari jets. He can sell a Trump meme coin and rug pull his own supporters. He could do anything he fucking wants, and nobody bats an eye. This is the most corrupt president in American history. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Someone watches Kyle. Yes, I fucking do. Shout out Kyle Kolinsky. All right. So let's move on to Trump's absolute crash out over Canada. So real quick, let me explain something. Ronald Reagan hated tariffs. Ronald Reagan grew up during the Great Depression, and the Great Depression was exacerbated by the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Acts, where we put massive tariffs on foreign imports, and just like tariffs always do, it gives you temporary relief, and then if you don't stop it, it ends up fucking over the markets, right? Well, Canada spent like $75 million on creating this advertisement that uses real footage from Ronald Reagan's radio speech in the 1980s where he's shitting all over tariffs. And Donald Trump had a fucking crash out because, as you know, Donald Trump is obsessed with Ronald Reagan. He stole Ronald Reagan's slogan, "Make America Great Again," right? And he thinks this is AI generated, and it's not. But just so you know, this is all a ploy for us to invade Canada. Donald Trump is serious about turning Canada into the 51st state. He wasn't trolling. It wasn't hyperbole. That is the plan. They want to annex Canada, and this is one of the ways that they plan on doing it, is by destroying their economy through the tariff plans. Okay, $10. It was Diddy who gave the money for his commutation. Yeah, I fucking bet. So first thing I'm going to do is show you this. This is the first, he made a couple of posts, so this is the first post. The Ronald Reagan Foundation, actually, before we read this, the Ronald Reagan Foundation has been co-opted by MAGA. There's some fucking MAGA doofus in charge of the Ronald Reagan Foundation. None of it, and also here's the thing, Ronald Reagan was already a piece of shit, so you shouldn't have given a fuck what the Ronald Reagan Foundation said in the first place, but it's all MAGA. The Ronald Reagan Foundation has just announced that Canada has fraudulently used an advertisement. I don't know what he means by fraudulently, which is why I think he's claiming that it's AI generated. Okay? Has fraudulently used an advertisement which is fake. And again, it's not fake, it's real. Fraudulently used an advertisement which is fake, featuring Ronald Reagan speaking negatively about tariffs. The ad was for $75 million. They only did this to interfere with the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts. Tariffs are very important to the national security and economy of the USA. Based on their egregious behavior, all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. So Donald Trump just cut off all trade with the nation of Canada. All trade with the nation of Canada because they posted a video of Ronald Reagan's actual words. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you, there's a couple more posts on it, but before we do, I want to show you Ronald Reagan's real speech here. So this is the ad that Canada made, okay? Here's the advertisement that they made that Trump is crashing out over.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. Throughout the world, there's a growing realization that the way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. America's jobs and growth are at stake.
So that's the ad. Okay, that's what made Trump crash out. Now, here's what's funny. Here's what's funny. Trump posted in this, as I showed you, he said that it's fraudulent, it's fake, and it's not. It's real. But the one thing he's correct about is it is edited because Ronald Reagan's real speech went so much harder in terms of fuck tariffs. Ronald Reagan, that speech is actually worse. It's more anti-tariff if you'd use the full version of it. And I have not the full version of it, but a longer version of it so you can really listen to what he said.
You see, at first, when someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. What eventually occurs is, first, homegrown industries start relying on government protection in the form of high tariffs.
That's what we're seeing right now with, Trump said he's going to give like a check to farmers. He's going to subsidize the farmers. So now we're seeing that they're relying on government assistance.
They stop competing and stop making the innovative management and technological changes they need to succeed in world markets. And then, while all this is going on, something even worse occurs. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars.
This is already happening with China. Remember, China said they're not buying our soybeans anymore. They're going to buy them from Argentina, who we conveniently gave a $40 billion bailout. And now Donald Trump, he said himself, he goes, we're going to be buying Argentinian beef. And then he told American cattle ranchers that they should be thanking him for making their fucking lives worse. American cattle ranchers, I voted for your ranch. If you voted for Donald Trump, you didn't. I do not fucking pity you. If you voted for Donald Trump and you're going to lose your fucking ranch, boo fucking who.
The result is more and more tariffs, higher and higher trade barriers, and less competition. So soon, because of the prices made artificially high by tariffs that subsidize inefficiency and poor management, people stop buying. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. The memory of all this occurring back in the 30s made me determined when I came to Washington to spare the American people the protectionist legislation that destroys prosperity.
I hate that fucking noise at the end of a TikTok, but so Ronald Reagan fucking hated tariffs, except for like small versions of tariffs that he would put up every once in a while. But the idea of a blanket tariff program where you tariff every single nation on planet Earth and all of the goods coming in is a speed run to crashing your own economy. A fucking speed run. So you saw it here. It's real. Ronald Reagan actually said that. It's not AI generated. And if you use the full version of what he said, he actually goes way harder on the anti-tariff run. But again, Donald Trump he has dementia. He's decaying. He's an idiot. He's morbidly obese. He's a fascist. You're living through the era of the death of truth. There's no truth anymore. There is Trump's truth, which is why he has Trump's Truth Social, Trump's Truth, which, by the way, they didn't want to call it Truth Social. They wanted to call it Trump Social, and they ended up changing the name. But anyway, now get a look at Canada. Prime Minister Carney, after Trump's reaction, Trump crashed out and said, we're cutting all trade with the nation of Canada. Well, Carney came out and said, okay, we'll trade with China. Do you understand what that means? That is the death throw of the United States of America. If we do not have trade with Canada and Mexico, our nation collapses in less than a month. Get a look at this.
Now, what we can control, absolutely, is how we build here at home. And that's the focus of Budget 2025, generational investment here in Canada. And what we can also control, or at least heavily influence, is developing new partnerships and opportunities, including with the economic giants of Asia, which is the focus of this trip.
So when he says the economic giants of Asia, he's talking about China. So Canada is going to start trading with China instead of the United States of America because we are unreliable. We are in a trade war. We are threatening to annex their nation. We have threatened their fucking sovereignty. Okay? Now, during all of this fucking trade war bullshit, we've got a video of Trump on Air Force One saying that we are going to buy Argentinian beef, which, by the way, is infested with fucking tapeworms.
With soybeans, and on Argentina, you're looking to do that deal with Argentina, the bail swap. So,
Beef?
are we expecting a beef deal?
I assume you're talking about beef. Yeah, to get beef prices down. The only price we have that's high is beef.
He said to get beef prices down, we're going to import Argentinian beef. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm not even going to give you my opinion on this, bro. I don't know if you're a MAGA voter or not. I want you to use your brain. How in the name of Christ would importing Argentinian beef lower the price of American beef? Just think. Just think. It doesn't work. It's not a thing.
And we'll get that down. And one of the things we're thinking about doing is beef from Argentina.
American cattle rancher sitting on a fucking horse right now, trying to get all of his cattle into the shed, or fuck you, whatever. Is this what you want? Is this supposed to help your life by importing shitty Argentinian beef? Or granted, I mean, American beef is probably fucking dog shit too. There's a reason why other nations don't buy our fucking meat. Jesus Christ. And because of this, get this, bro. Because of this, the regime-controlled state media known as Fox News has been pumping out advertisements for Hamburger Helper. Now, here's the thing. I know many of you eat Hamburger Helper. I'm sure, I never had it, but I'm sure Hamburger Helper is fucking delicious, bro. But it is also, it's poverty food, okay? When people start to buy more Hamburger Helper, that is a sign that the economy is fucked.
State regime media known as Fox News was collapsed.
By the way, this is Midas Touch. Shout out to Midas Touch for their coverage.
Back as Donald Trump. This clip.
In True Brand.
Out here, play this clip.
And last but not least, one trend in True Brand is making a big comeback as consumers tighten their wallets. And here it is, Hamburger Helper. The mix of mac and cheese and ground beef is seeing a surge in sales.
Then state regime media tried to normalize Donald Trump bulldozing the entire...
We're going to talk about that, but I just wanted to show you that Fox News... you also have to understand who watches Fox News. We're talking about, very uneducated alcoholics that are, primarily above the age of, 45, right? They've also lived through the Great Recession, right? They are slaves to propaganda. They eat this shit with a fucking silver spoon, right? So they look at this and not as a sign of failure, but as a sign of like, oh, good for American business. Hamburger Helper and American business is making more sales. No, bro. This is a sign that people are losing access to their SNAP benefits, are losing access to food stamps. The price of everything is going up. The Thanksgiving holiday is coming up. People are fucked. And when they're fucked, they resort to things like fucking Hamburger Helper, bro. And what Midas Touch was about to show you, I'm going to show you on my own. Donald Trump destroyed the entire East Wing of the White House. The entire fucking thing. Here's an aerial shot of it. So there's the White House, right? I don't know if you know this, but the East Wing of the White House was actually bigger than the White House itself, which is fucking asinine. Mainly because the president's bunker, or I guess now the Fuhrer bunker, is located beneath what used to be the East Wing. So Trump said that he would not touch the main building, the East Wing. He said that. He promised that. He said that this strip right here, the patio, was all that they were going to destroy. Now, as we know, Donald Trump is a pathological liar, and he pathologically lied. This is the latest photo of the East Wing. The entire thing is gone. The entire East Wing is gone. They also didn't remove any of the furniture. When they did it, they left all of the furniture inside of it as they destroyed it because, you know, Donald Trump does not care about anything other than himself. But they ended up destroying, like, everything that every first lady has ever created. The first lady usually gets a lot of say in the East Wing. But let me show you here. Get a look at this. Thank you for the $5. With SNAP benefits and the chopping block before the holidays, donations to your local food banks would be incredibly helpful. That's true. So at least 2 historic magnolia trees, the Kennedy Garden, appear to have been removed in order to make room for Trump's ballroom. Satellite images show that Donald Trump's project to build a $300 million ballroom. Wow, that went up by $100 million. He was saying it was $200 million. I guess it's back up to $300. Let's see. Has appeared to take down at least 6 trees in the White House grounds, including 2 historic magnolia trees commemorating Presidents Warden G. Harding and Franklin D. Roosevelt. The satellite images released on Thursday provide the fullest picture yet of the extent of the demolition work on the White House's East Wing and its effect in the surrounding parkland. Changes made without consulting the government commission established by federal law to ensure the preservation and integrity of government buildings in D.C. Excuse me. So the Jacqueline Kennedy Garden is gone. It was established by First Lady Edith Roosevelt as a colonial garden in 1903. Gone. Let's see. It was also leveled during the demolition. Earlier this year, Trump paved over the Rose Garden. Gone. It's unbelievable. It's unfucking believable. Now, I want to remind you, that's your house. That's my house. That's our house. That ain't his fucking house. And if you take a second to keep on thinking, you go, who the fuck builds a $300 million ballroom in a house that they plan on leaving in 3 years? Well, the answer to that question is nobody. Nobody builds a $300 million room in a house that they plan on leaving. Now, this is because Donald Trump does not plan on leaving. And hi, Luigi. You do not have to take my word for it. You could take it from the red-in-the-faced, morbidly obese fascist known as Steve Bannon. This is one of the architects of Trump's first regime, but this is one of the guys planning Trump's inevitable takeover of the United States. It's coming. Okay, let me break this down. There will not be an election in 2028. We may walk through the motions of it, like there may be a voting day, but if you don't vote for Donald Trump, your ballot is not going to be counted. There is no voting your way out of this. You can vote your way into fascism, but you have to shoot your way out. You cannot vote your way out of fascism, okay? Friendly reminder that Adolf Hitler was democratically elected, okay? And he was not democratically removed. That's not how that fucking works. But so we've covered this in this channel for a very long time, that Donald Trump is going to run for a 3rd term. He's going to either use the Andy Ogles proposition to the 22nd Amendment that would allow him to run for a 3rd term, but it would prevent Obama from doing it. That's available for you to look up. You could type in on Google Andy Ogles 22nd Amendment. It's important that you keep reading it because it'll say, we want, you would read it and you go, oh, it's 3 terms, so we could see Obama versus Trump, which first of all, you shouldn't be advocating for that, okay? You should not be advocating for that. But second of all, it's not there. What it says is a president can run for a third term if they haven't served 2 consecutive terms. So that it means, think of all the living presidents. It means Bill Clinton, he did 2 consecutive terms, so he can't do it. George W. Bush, he did 2 consecutive terms, he can't do it. Barack Obama, 2 consecutive terms, he can't do it. It leaves only Joe Biden and Donald Trump as being allowed to run for a third term. Now, if, you know, Joe Biden's got fucking cancer, he may not even be here in 2028. So he's not included on that. So there is a proposition that says, if you break it down, it says Donald Trump can run for a third term. That's what it doesn't say anybody can run for a third term. The actual proposed legislation says Donald J. Trump can run for a third term. That's it, nobody else. So, and again, you don't need to hear it from my mouth. You could take it from Steve Bannon.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president in 28. And people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is. But there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. And the way we finish it through Trump. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very...
See what I mean, guys? These are theocratic fascists who actually believe that Donald Trump was sent by God to, quote-unquote, save this nation, to save the West. Well, here's the thing. God isn't real. But if he was, Donald Trump was sent by fucking Satan to fuck your shit up and destroy the nation that you've known to love.
Very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term. Right, and he'll get that in 28.
You're not driving me crazy. I'm really I'm trying to understand the coherence of the things you've just told me in the last few minutes. On the one hand, you've said the Constitution is fit for purpose. Secondly, you've said that President Trump needs another term, even though the 22nd Amendment makes pretty clear that he cannot have another term.
Why does it make that clear?
What? Because it says in black and white, no person shall hold the office of president for more than 2 terms. It says it in black and white, you fucking dipshit.
Because he's on his 2nd term already.
At some point in time, we will make sure we go through, Zanny, and define all those terms.
Okay? But even if you find a way to undermine you will be undermining the spirit of that amendment, even if you find some way around it. And to those
Can the American people, if the American people, with the mechanisms we have, put Trump back in office, are the American people tearing up the Constitution? Would that be?
Yes. Yes, it would be. Yes. And that wouldn't be the American people. That would be you. That would be the government. Because the American people legally cannot choose Donald Trump for a 3rd term unless you alter the Constitution. He cannot even be an option unless you violate the Constitution. So, yes, if the American people chose Donald Trump for a 3rd term, every single person who voted for him would no longer be considered an American. They would be considered traitors to the Union, and we would have to treat them as such.
Would the American people be going against the spirit of the Constitution, ma'am?
Yes.
I think yes, actually.
Thank you. Fuck. Oh my God, it is so refreshing to hear a fucking journalist or, you know, whatever the fuck you want to call her. It is so refreshing to hear somebody actually have a pair of balls. Now, the reason why is because she's not from this fucking nation.
Because I think what you will end up with is a populist justification for a quasi-dictatorship.
I'm so glad she steamed rolled over that fat fuck.
That's not true at all. Trump
That's what it sounds like. Because I think what you will end up with is a populist justification for a quasi-dictatorship.
That's not true at all.
Yes, it
is. That's what it sounds like.
Trump is a dictatorship. Did you just see the compromises he had to make on the big, beautiful bill? You see the compromises he has to do on everything?
He didn't make any compromises. He shut down the government because Democrats don't want to take away health care for tens of millions of Americans, and Democrats want to release the Epstein files. So he shut down the government and furloughed 750,000 employees.
On accommodating Zelensky, on what President Trump... President Trump is nothing but a series of negotiations.
Did he just say accommodating Zelensky? We made a video yesterday. Donald Trump just told Zelensky to give up 80% of Ukraine to Russia. Is that accommodating to Zelensky, you red-in-the-faced, high-cholesterol fat fuck?
To kind of keep this thing rolling forward, where he's having
these fucking fascists, dude. This is the same fucking people who argue for the master race, the Ubermensch. This fucking bastard is probably having 2 Baconators every goddamn fucking hour.
Trade-offs all the time.
Steve, you've just spent the last
So-called master race, by the way, hasn't seen his dick in 7 years.
20 minutes telling me we have to smash the other side. There's no room for debate. There's no room for compromise. We must smash them. And now you're telling me this is a negotiation. I mean, that's
no.
I think that's why
on
it
his
seems to me some kind
policy.
of tension
First
there.
off, the only way President Trump wins in 2028 and continues to stay in office is by the will of the American people.
No, it isn't. It's by getting rid of free and fair elections. The only way Donald Trump can become the president in 2028 is if you completely terminate the United States Constitution and you have a completely fraudulent election. Because as we've seen, I don't know if you guys know this, but party ID registration, the Democrats are up by 7%. This is the largest gap that they've ever had. What this means is essentially a pollster calls you and says, do you identify as a Democrat or a Republican? Now, historically, it's been very close, almost 50-50, right? There was a lead in 2018, the largest lead up until that point, where the Democrats had a +4, meaning more people were willing to identify as Democrats, right? Now, that number has moved to a +7 Democrats, which means 2 things. It means 1, Democrats are not ashamed to call themselves Democrats, and 2, Republicans are embarrassed to call themselves Republicans. Now, this is because the same thing that you're feeling, this like, God, I'm so tired of the chaos. I'm so tired of every day there's another fucking piece of bullshit pumped out by these fascists. That is being felt by everybody, even the people who are on the right. That nobody likes chaos. The economy relies on predictability and being able to look ahead in the future and make a plan, right? Everybody understands that Donald Trump is an unpredictable psychopath. He's like, we're putting 200% tariffs on China, and then the next day he's like, no, we're revoking it. No more tariffs, right? It causes complete and total mayhem.
In 2028 and continues to stay in office is by the will of the American people.
So, again, the point that I'm trying to make is the will of the American people would not put him back in office. The will of the American people would overwhelmingly vote his ass out of office. The only way you could do it is through what they're doing in Texas, trying to gerrymander and redraw districts, and now we have them attacking the Voting Rights Act, right? They're doing everything they can to rig the election because, as the founder of the GOP said on video, if every American voted, we would never win an election. That is a direct quote, okay? The GOP understands that the more people that vote, the less likely they are to win. So they participate in voter suppression all the fucking time. They make it next to impossible to vote.
Okay? And the will of the American people is what the Constitution embodies. And so I think we're going to be in good hands there. We need to finish what we started. And President Trump is the instrument, a providential instrument to finish that, to finish this job.
Yeah, okay, so I want this guy deported and sent to a concentration camp with no due process. Fucking cancel me, I don't give a shit. All right, last but not least, Apex Shakur, also known as Hakeem Jeffries, has finally endorsed Zohran Mamdani. Zohran DM'd me on Instagram. Thanks for DMing me, Zohran. I'm gonna help you. But listen, it's too little too late. Hakeem Jeffries is a waste of space. Chuck Schumer is a waste of space. These people do not represent anybody other than themselves. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries made fucking millions of dollars from AIPAC donations. Chuck Schumer, his stock portfolio has flown. These people are radlibs who care about nothing other than maintaining the status quo because it lines their pockets and keeps them with the semblance of power. But Hakeem Jeffries has finally bent the knee to you. He has bent the knee to you. The only reason he's endorsing Mamdani is because Mamdani's inevitable victory, a fucking landslide victory, is inbound. And if you don't support the Mamdani message as a Democrat, you're going to be left behind. After a lengthy wait, Jeffries to endorse Mamdani. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries will endorse Zohran Mamdani for New York City Mayor Friday, according to 2 people with knowledge of the situation. Jeffries will join Governor Kathy Hochul and other senior New York Democrats who've announced their support for the Democratic Socialists after keeping him at arm's length. Now, I want to point out one thing before we close this out here, because we are done. That's the last tab I got for you. If you watch that debate with Zohran, Cuomo, and Sliwa, I noticed something, and I'm curious if you did too. I noticed, like, hey, if Zoran, like, disappeared overnight and it was literally between Cuomo and Sliwa, I would vote for Sliwa over Cuomo. And think about that. Think about what that means. Sliwa's a Republican. Cuomo pretends to be a Democrat. But what I realized was there were 3 political parties on stage during that debate, and none of them were the Democrat Party. We had Zoran Mamdani representing democratic socialism, which the Democratic Party has been waging war with. We had Curtis Sliwa representing the Republican Party. And then we had Andrew Cuomo representing the billionaire party, the oligarchs. Cuomo has no Democrat beliefs. Cuomo has, to be frank, no Republican beliefs. All Cuomo cares about is this mafia-style rule, right? Where he just wants power because he's from a political dynasty family. He's never earned a thing in his goddamn life. It was all handed to him by his fucking daddy, Mario, right? I mean, Cuomo doesn't understand what the word no means. And we know that because of his sexual harassment cases. But he was laughed out of the room as the Democratic primary, and he stayed. He ran as a fucking independent. Cuomo quite literally cannot take no for an answer. Okay. And I think that what you're going to start to see is a massive transition in the Democratic Party where if you do not support real progressives, if you do not support democratic socialists like Zoran Mamdani as a Democrat elected official, we the people are going to go out of our way to destroy your fucking career. Okay? And take that from me. I've been having exponential growth on this app. You may think I'm a joke now. Wait 7 fucking years. You're going to be bending the knee. I promise you, any Democrat official who stands in the way of Zoran Mamdani, I will go out of my way to unite with as many content creators as possible to make sure your fucking ass never gets power again. That's not a threat. That's a fucking guarantee. I don't know if you've seen the way that I go after Trump, but if you want that fucking smoke, I'm willing to give it. Anyway, Luigi. Well, that's perfect timing because I am going to end the video. So if you're watching this live, you stay. We got to make a thumbnail. If you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing and it helps me immensely. Luigi, do hairas, likiri. I have one last favor. Please click that video right over there. It's a banger, and I know bangers. All right, that's a banger. That's a banger. That's a banger. That's a banger. That's a banger, banger. What do you think Trump will do when Zoran gets elected? Cut all federal funding to New York City, which will be a massive wake-up call for the federal government when they realize that New York City doesn't need federal dollars and that the federal government needs New York City's dollars. New York City and California provide 75% of this nation's GDP. I'm not kidding, and I know this is going to sound so narcissistic, but New York City is the only city that matters in this country. It is the only city that matters. If you nuked New York, this country would collapse in a matter of fucking weeks. New York City is the most important city on planet Earth. It is where the most trade happens. It is where the most business deals happen. And LA, yes, but that's why I said California. I know California's a state. But literally, if Trump tries to cut federal funding to New York City and then New York City says, okay, then we're not going to send you any of our tax dollars, this nation would collapse in a matter of fucking weeks. Shout out New York, most important city on planet Earth. Anyway, we have to make a thumbnail, all right? And I'm trying to think of what we're going to do. Probably Trump 2028, war with Venezuela, something like that, you know? Excuse me. Disgusting. 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 That was a banger. Thanks, Egghead. Appreciate you. All right, so I'm thinking we go with Trump 2028 as the thumbnail. I did do my outro. I did. Did you hear about Elizabeth's Freudian slip on Donald Cunt? No, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about. How about... You say you don't live in New York? Dude, New York is a state, bro. I live in New York. I don't live in New York City. Jesus Christ. I lived in New York City for fucking 8 years until the affordability crisis got so bad that I just couldn't afford it anymore. Which is exactly why I love Zoran Mamdani. He's focusing on the #1 issue, which is affordability. You got anti-Hamas ads? That's so fucking funny. All right, I'm trying to think of a background for this, which will be U.S. Carrier Strike Group. Yeah, that's a good one. Fuck, it's copyrighted. How about this one? Fuck, it's copyrighted. How about this one? Hey, give me that. Gimme. Episode 273. Okay. I need Trump in a 2028 hat. Trump wearing Trump 2028 hat. All my life. All my life. Sorry. Can't stop myself. Trump 2028 hat. Chuck Schumer. Yeah, there we go. Give me that. Save image. All right, let's see. Go with this. Vocal stimming keeps us alive. Of course it does. Of course it does. Okay. What the fuck? That's not what I wanted at all. Maybe if I deleted Hakeem. Fuck. I didn't mean to do that. Shit. Canva ruined you? Bro, I don't know how to do fucking anything. There he goes. Perfect. Do the fucking background remover. Alright, how about this? Okay. All right, so we'll have it say, we need 3 different texts in it. So we'll have the first one say, he's never leaving. He's never leaving, and then we're going to go with King Donald the First. Nah, people won't be able to tell that that's the first. King Donald. And what else? The dictator of the West. Bang. All right. Get these up and running. Thumbnail. King Donald, the dictator of the West. He's never leaving. All right. Title. The title is going to be all right. Trump is never leaving the White House. War. Hold on, let me put never in all caps. Trump is never leaving the White House. War with Venezuela is official. What else? Oh. Canada Canada trades with China. Any tips for the new Battlefield? Be better, do better, look better. Simple. I'm just fucking with you. No, I don't have any tips. Just be better at the game. Get fucked. So let's see. Trump will run. Hold on. Trump will run in 2028. There will not be a real election. Our soldiers will die in the Venezuelan jungles. Canada will cease trade with the U.S. and begin trade with China. And this is the bitter end of the American empire. Okay. The Valenti VOD save. It's not made for kids. There is no AI generated content. Yes, I want the video monetized. Sensitive events dealing with the loss of life and tragedy that are not in a non-exploitative manner. See if it started properly. We're official. All right, it needs a slight tweak. Public. Trump is never leaving the White House. War with Venezuela's official. Canada trades with China. Publish. Not Canada that did the Reagan ad. It was Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario. He's a conservative. We hate him. I don't give a fuck if I hate him. I don't give a shit. He posted a video of Ronald Reagan saying tariffs are terrible. That's real. Donald Trump crashed out and ceased all trade with Canada. I don't give a fuck who he is, bro. I give a fuck about the impact. All right, let's get this edit in there. We're official. Okay, hold on. New cut. 06. 01. Reagan was bad, but he spat facts, no denial. Reagan was a piece of shit, but what he just said about tariffs was 100% true. We're officially going to war with Venezuela. Save. Done. Acknowledge, confirm, publish. Bang. That'll be done in 18 minutes. All right, guys. Palette cleanser, and then I'm going to end the video. A quick palette cleanser. A quickie palette cleanser. Dude, I have so many Battlefield clips that I want to show you guys, but you can't access them on the Xbox website. I don't think you can. Even though it's saved on my Xbox app on my phone. You can't access your saved shit through the Xbox website, can you? I don't think you can. Xbox app on your PC? Oh. Xbox PC app. Download. Hello? Hello? Alright, maybe I'll do that later. Yeah, I guess I'll do that later. Alright, we'll go with an older one then. Older palette cleanser. That's the best way to cook a steak. Leave it out so it's room temperature. Season it with some salt and pepper. Get a skillet rip-roaring hot with a little tab of you could use olive oil, or you could use butter. You could use both. Sear it heavily for like, I don't know, 2.5 minutes on one side. Rip-roaring hot. Flip that fucker. Drop in a couple of nabs of butter, some rosemary, some thyme, some crushed garlic. Get a spoon. You want your butter browning. You want to baste that fucker in the butter for the next, like, I don't know, 2.5 minutes. Just keep on basting it. Take it out. Let it rest for, like, I don't know, 2 minutes. And then you're good to go. The trick is you want to cook it 2.5 minutes on that one side and then 2 minutes on the other with constant basting, and then let it sit. Yeah, avocado oil has a higher smoke point, yeah.
Stay there, honestly. probably meting up, I'm assuming. Just got it. Get up one higher.
Hold on. Oh! That's how you fucking do it.
Oh!
That looks, hold on.
That looks painful, bro.
Get up one higher.
Hold on.
Oh, bro, that sounded painful. All right, one more, and then we're done. One more, and then we're done. Last one. Oh, this one. Bodied. Bodied. What a throw. Oh!
Murdered. Murdered. Clipped it. Murdered. Murdered, 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 murdered. Yeah, I crushed you because I'm better than every single one of you. All right.
Oh, fucking yeah. Ooh, baby, triple. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Thank you very much for tuning into the Valenti broadcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it helps me immensely. Weenie, what are you doing? All right, guys. Have a good one. Later.